Hello everyone, welcome to Chelsea Sport Focus. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started.
Chelsea complete £238 million transfer Uturn as Marresca's squad finally begins to take shape. A year ago, Chelsea's summer transfer window was a chaotic whirlwind of ambition without direction, a collection of hopeful signings, talent hoarding, and positional mismatches that left more questions than solutions. Fast forward to the summer of 2025, and the story, while still laced with heavy spending, has taken a more refined, strategic turn. Under Enzo Marresca, Chelsea are doing something they've often failed to do in recent seasons: address the right problems. After another eye-watering transfer outlay, £238 million and counting, Chelsea look more balanced, more focused, and more prepared for a season of fighting on multiple fronts. For the fourth summer in a row under Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital, the Blues have broken the £200 million barrier. But this time, there's substance to match the scale. A new direction in spending, but still no expense spared. Chelsea's business this summer has been aggressive but targeted. £140 million has already been committed to new signings. When you factor in earlier deals agreed for Estevao Willian, Dario Isugo, and Mamadou Sarr, whose arrivals were all pre-planned, the real figure for the club's long-term project balloons to around £325 million. Still, even removing those staggered signings from the equation, this summer's business alone has cost Chelsea at least £238 million, with Joel Hato expected to cost a minimum of £37 million, and Xavi Simons, should he arrive, likely commanding over £60 million. But unlike last year's chaotic recruitment, this time Chelsea have clearly targeted key weaknesses in the squad and acted to plug the gaps. The additions of Hato, Simons, Pending, and Ganacho, if completed, are emblematic of a more coherent plan. Learning from 2024's mistakes. In 2024, Marresca was handed a mismatched squad. Instead of the new goalkeeper, striker, and midfielder he badly needed, Chelsea signed 3 left-wingers, a second-choice keeper, and a handful of raw, unproven talents. There was no balance. It was the definition of overthinking. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall was brought in to replace Conor Gallagher, but struggled to influence games. Dusan Adarabioyo arrived on a free and, from a cost perspective, was useful, but at the expense of Trevoh Chalobah, who had been banished only to be recalled months later. Of the 12 signings made last year, João Felix has already been sold, Mike Penders and Caleb Wiley have gone on loan, and Dewsbury-Hall and Renato Veiga are on the chopping block. Only Pedro Neto showed his worth late in the campaign. It was a summer of confusion, with Omari Kellerman arriving as an expensive makeweight in the Ian Maatsen to Aston Villa deal. Aaron Anselmino, another raw talent from South America, cost £14 million, again, a long-term project rather than a short-term fix. And perhaps the biggest error, Marc Guiu, a low-cost signing from Barcelona, was left as the only natural backup to Nicholas Jackson. The result? A lack of firepower that cost Chelsea dearly in tight games. Marresca's makeover, addressing the gaps. This summer, Chelsea have pivoted. They've not only spent, but they've spent smarter. Jamie Gittins has arrived, expensive, yes, but dynamic and suited to the system. Mykhailo Mudryk's suspension created an urgent need for a left-winger. Gittins fits the mold better than Felix or Sancho did. João Pedro and Liam Delap provide versatile attacking options that reduce reliance on Jackson. Andre Santos is back, and with Isugo joining, the midfield has depth and energy once again. If Simons arrives, he'll offer a natural hybrid between left wing and number 10, precisely what Felix failed to become. Estevao Willian, meanwhile, has impressed during the club's pre-season tour in the US and could be much closer to a first-team role than expected. At left-back, Marc Cucurella now has meaningful support. Joel Hato, far more experienced than Veiga, is not only a reinforcement but a player who could start matches with confidence. Cucurella, overworked for both club and country in the last 18 months, finally has relief. The big U-turn, selling smart, not just buying big. What truly differentiates this Chelsea summer from the past 3 is how the club are managing their outgoings. It's not just about who comes in, it's who leaves, and why. Christopher Nkunku and Armando Broja are both likely to be sold permanently, creating space and funding. Noni Maduke's move to Arsenal opened up space on the right, allowing for Palmer, Simons, Neto, and Estevao to rotate fluidly. Guiu is heading out on loan, likely to Sunderland, where he'll develop in a system more suited to his needs. Even fringe players like Leslie Ugaku, Caleb Wiley, and Kani Chukwuemeka are either on their way out or being considered for future moves. There's no more clutter in the dressing room. Every player is either part of Marresca's plans or being moved along with clear logic. And that's before even mentioning the possible arrival of Alejandro Ganacho. Should Chelsea complete the deal for the exiled Manchester United winger, it would not only be a statement of intent, it would be a true squad upgrade. Looking ahead, not done yet, but finally on track. Chelsea still have work to do. Finalizing the Simons deal, determining Ganacho's price tag, and possibly making one last addition up front, especially if Jackson leaves, could push the final figure beyond £300 million. But for the first time in years, Chelsea fans can look at the squad and see purpose. The club hasn't abandoned its youth-driven strategy, but it's been refined. The expensive flops and positional redundancies of 2024 have given way to positional clarity, depth, and flexibility. From chaos to clarity, Chelsea's transfer Uturn under Enzo Marresca may finally be the blueprint they've been searching for. Chelsea complete Ganacho background checks as Blues plot stunning Premier League raid. The winds of change are blowing fiercely through Stamford Bridge this summer, and Alejandro Ganacho is the latest name whispered down the corridors of Cobham. Once heralded as Manchester United's next superstar, the 20-year-old Argentine winger now finds himself cast aside by head coach Ruben Amorim. But while Old Trafford turns cold, Chelsea's fire is only just beginning to burn. Telegraph Sport understands that Chelsea have completed a thorough series of background checks on Ganacho, and the results have left the Blues hierarchy satisfied that there is no red flag, no concern, no hesitation. The West London Giants have long admired the electric talent of the Argentine international, and now, as his relationship with Amorim collapses behind the scenes at United, the door to a blockbuster move has swung wide open. Sources close to the situation reveal that Ganacho has made Chelsea his preferred destination, despite interest from Aston Villa and other Premier League suitors. His ambition is clear: he wants Champions League football. He wants a stage worthy of his talents. And above all, he wants to prove that United's decision to exile him was the club's greatest mistake in recent history. Amorim's ruthless decision sparks shockwave. Ganacho's fall from grace at Manchester United has been as swift as it has been shocking. Handpicked by Amorim's predecessor Erik ten Hag and thrust into the limelight, Ganacho was once viewed as the crown jewel of United's future. But Amorim's arrival heralded a new regime, and a brutal one at that. Despite flashes of brilliance, Ganacho was abruptly dropped, left out of squads, and ultimately bombed out of the first team altogether. The reasons behind the decision remain clouded in mystery, but sources suggest it's a mix of tactical incompatibility and perceived attitude issues. Still, Chelsea have not been deterred. The Blues have done their homework, digging deep into Ganacho's off-pitch personality, training habits, social behavior, and overall character. The verdict? Ganacho is not a problem. He is a young player in need of trust, structure, and above all, a club that believes in his potential. Chelsea wait on United valuation and outgoings. Chelsea's interest in Ganacho is not new. Behind the scenes, the club has tracked his progress for more than a year. And now, with Amorim showing him the exit door, the time is finally right. But as with any major Premier League transfer, money will talk. Chelsea are now waiting for Manchester United to finalize their striker search, believed to involve a serious pursuit of RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko, before opening formal negotiations. United are hesitant to weaken their Premier League rival, but with Ganacho's surplus to requirements, the Red Devils are also under pressure to generate funds. Chelsea must also clear space in their already crowded attacking department. Christopher Nkunku and Armando Broja are both likely to leave permanently, while Mark Guiu and Tariq George are set for loan spells to gain first-team experience. These moves are not just for financial balancing, they're to prepare a throne for the king-in-waiting. Ganacho. Xavi Simons deal still in play. Chelsea's pursuit of Ganacho does not mean an end to their interest in Xavi Simons, the supremely gifted Dutch attacker currently with RB Leipzig. The club has made an initial approach for Simons but is yet to lodge a formal bid. However, optimism remains high. Intriguingly, Leipzig have expressed interest in 3 Chelsea players: Armando Broja, Carney Chukwuemeka, who wants to return to Borussia Dortmund, and Tariq George. Those discussions could pave the way for a part exchange deal or smooth out negotiations for Simons. Chelsea believe that both Ganacho and Simons could be integrated into the squad, if they can pull off the financial gymnastics and offload the right players. Hato arrival finalized as Marresca's vision crystallizes. In the midst of this attacking reshuffle, Chelsea have completed the signing of Jorel Hato from Ajax in a £37 million deal. The 18-year-old Dutch centre-back is expected to join up with the squad in time for their mini pre-season camp next week, signaling the start of manager Enzo Maresca's defensive rebuild. Hato, a versatile and technically gifted defender, is a key piece of Marresca's system. But the manager knows he needs dynamism and unpredictability in the final third to truly elevate Chelsea, and that's where Ganacho fits in. Nicholas Jackson, Uturn and the exit dominoes. Chelsea's transfer machine is in full motion. Club insiders anticipate offers for Nicholas Jackson, with Juventus and Newcastle United monitoring the striker closely. Leslie Uturn is also likely to leave permanently, having struggled to break into the first team. Mark Guiu will head to Sunderland on loan, and several youth players are expected to follow in similar paths. These departures are not random, they are part of a calculated strategy to reshape Chelsea's attack into something younger, faster, and more direct. Ganacho's arrival would inject raw pace, fearless dribbling, and goal-scoring intent into a team